The fact that we're using eminent domain to take a lady's property really gets under my craw.
We've owned this property for 27 years.
I told you, I think this is a moral issue.
Just do the right thing. For once, just do the right thing.
This land is your land. This land is my land.
That famous patriotic song that celebrates the vast landscapes of the great US of A. But it doesn't mean that my land should be the government's to steal. And the politicians should only force you to sell your land to the government if it's really necessary. And that's why we're in Morgan's Point. Population 350, just 1,600 acres south of the Port of Houston. And that's where City Hall is trying to take Jenny Randolph's land for a parking lot.
We just had no idea that they were going to do this.
Is this an emotional situation?
Well, sure it is.
Jenny Mae Caton met her husband John at the FFA Fair 61 years ago. She says John saw her on a Ferris wheel and told himself, I gotta meet that girl. They married the same year.
A caretaker. He took care of his family.
John was a longshoreman at the port, and they were married nearly 60 years ago. He made sure he was planning for their future.
He owned several pieces of property here that he invested in, and this was one of them.
All this was supposed to be to take care of my mom when he was gone.
We're standing on the last of Randolph's property in Morgan's Point, a quarter of an acre on Jameson Street that includes a 3,150 square foot storage building. John Randolph Jr. is the oldest of three sons.
He was getting to the end of his life. He made sure that we were going to watch out for what was best for Mom.
John Sr. died in 2022 in June, and right in the midst of her great grief, that's when the city made its move.
He passed within a month's time. Brian Snyder, the city planner, started calling me and asking me what we planned to do with this land.
Jenny simply planned to keep it, and she didn't know that just 2 months before her husband died, Morgan's Point had started its plan, bought the property next door.
They have a plan, nobody knows what it actually is. Being that my dad was passed, that was the triggering factor.
That lot includes a building that Morgan's Point wants to renovate into a police station and a museum. And it's why Morgan's Point sent Jenny this letter.
It's $116,000 and something to buy me out. And I did not respond because there wasn't anything to respond to. I didn't want to sell it, wasn't planning on it, didn't want to talk to them about it.
In June, the city of Morgan's Point actually sued Jenny to condemn the land and take it, citing eminent domain. Her land, the lawsuit said, was necessary for the construction, operation, and maintenance of a police department parking lot. Richard Young, he's the newest city council member in town, and he's appalled they did it.
The city doesn't need the property that they want to take from the Randolphs because they own property directly across the street.
And we were curious, just how many cop cars does this tiny little town even have?
We'll be parking at least 6 vehicles and then a couple more. So I think we're looking at, I want to say it was 9, wasn't it?
Morgan's Point might have a hard time proving in court that they absolutely can't run their police department without Jenny's land. Look, the city already has 29 parking spaces on the land where they're putting the new police department. They also own this half-acre property, and it's vacant too.
We're talking about a deal that's immoral for the city to try to seize somebody's property for some unknown reason.
But I want your justification for taking this person's property.
I don't have one for you right now, ma'am.
Mayor Tim Harris referred us to the city's statement posted online, which basically said no one lives on the property. It's only got a storage building on it. And besides, Jenny isn't even a Morgan's Point resident. So what? She owns property there, pays taxes. And wait till you see what happened the last time the Morgan's Point City Council had a meeting.
The eminent domain lawsuit is a poor choice.
That's bad to take people's property. It's just one of the few things left in a democracy that we have, that you can't just come take my property because you think it's better repurposed to something that you like.
The one resident who does think taking Jenny's land is a cool idea is Craig Holland, husband of City Councilwoman Sherry Holland. He spoke up at a City Council meeting in June.
I think we ought to go ahead with eminent domain that property, and I'm sure this grieving widow will take the money and run. I'm sorry, but this is the last piece of property.
You're talking about my mom, by the way.
The grieving widow? What a guy.
You know, and I thought that was very ugly. I basically stood up and told him, hey, you're talking about my mother.
I'm not interested in talking to you.
Well, in June, you had some kind of rude things to say about the woman whose property. Yes, you did. I heard it.
I'm not interested in talking to you. Chief, she's hassling me.
The eminent domain lawsuit opened up a can of worms for the elected officials of the town, like the location of the police station.
Not only are there acceptable alternatives, but there is one obvious alternative that better serves the residents of Morgan's Point than the choice that's been made.
Amy Bean, who lost the recent mayor's race there by just a couple of votes, believes the town would rather see a police station here, just as you come into town on Barbers Cut Boulevard.
And it would be a great place for a police station because people are going to drive right by it.
Turns out, the records we've seen reveal building a brand new police headquarters would save the town nearly $300,000, and they already own this land. So what's really going on? Turns out these folks have something else in mind for this property. A $1.2 million court where they can play pickleball.
Pickleball, I don't know anybody that plays pickleball in this city.
Our world is imploding, and you want to do pickleball and take somebody's land?
I haven't heard from any one person that wants a pickleball court here.
Mayor Harris explained the pickleball court has been in the works for a year, and City Council ignored opposition when it was first raised back then.
The public doesn't think the council is acting in its behalf. Okay, that's it.
Nothing like a little government land confiscation to wake up your constituents.
All of us are property owners. Which one of us is next? It's open season now.
And Dolcefino Media reporter Andrea Palacio had seen enough.
Are you going to go ahead with it even though people don't want you to do it?
There's a council that approves that, ma'am.
Yeah, but you can undo it. It's a lawsuit. All you have to do, sir, is withdraw the lawsuit.
I have no comment. Thank you.
Can you tell me what you think about what the citizens said tonight about eminent domain? And no, why not?
But the angry response from the people who elected them might have changed at least one mind.
Do you agree with them?
Yes, I agree with them, okay?
All right. Thank you. You have another place to put the police cars.
God does listen. Let's see if Morgan's Point City Council will too.